There we go. I found the record button. I hit the record button, and unlike on other recording services, there's no lady that talks in the background. So we're back in our seats. I think it's been about a week or two, but it isn't easy to take time, come up with a topic, and then talk about it. Just those three things alone require a small miracle to take place, which has happened today. So, Waylon, where in the world are you today? I know last time we recorded it was Utah. Are you back where it's warm?
Yeah, so down here in Dallas today. Yep. So we are down south.
Awesome. Awesome. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that I think provides a high level view from your end, a ground level view from my end, and a view that if someone takes the next 10 to 20 minutes and watches, will hopefully benefit them from whatever view they're taking. I wanted to talk about progress today because progress is something that in a producer's mindset takes place really quickly. I wrote a policy today. I'm paid on Wednesday. I'm going to keep doing that versus the industry where progress moves about as slow as the federal government. And some days you want to run headlong into the wall. And even then, there's no progress that comes from that. So, what do you think about the idea of the producer's perspective versus the industry side when it comes to progress?
Yeah, man. So it's a really interesting concept, and luckily we were able to kind of cover some of this stuff on your call this morning. And that's I'm going to do a shameless plug for your morning calls. Anybody watching these, do yourself a favor and make time to hop on some of those calls Chris puts together because they're not easy to put together, as he mentioned, and take a lot of preparation and time to do them every single day. So if you guys have time in the mornings, hop on for sure at 9 a.m. Eastern for his morning calls. But, to kind of differentiate that perspective of what's progress, right? So from the agent level, it looks a certain way. But I'll speak on this call from the agency level, right? I think a lot of times when you get to the agency level, at least when you're maturing into that role, as I kind of did in my career, I had to recognize that when I was an agent, progress to me was, having a good week or a good month and being profitable within that timeline. On the agency level, it's much different. It's okay, I'm going to go in the hole here for 6 months, but is my forecast correct? And am I going to be profitable on this investment over a longer period of time? So as you mature, I think something that you learn to realize and kind of start to believe in and see is some longer term investments where you may not be profitable month 1 or month 4 or sometimes even month 12 are some of the things that end up paying off the biggest. And it's hard to even think that way as an agent. We think in the sense of like, I put 800 in for leads, I want to get 2,400 out. At an agency level, we put 30 grand in for agency growth for a downline agency, and we hope that we get 20 out in the next 6 months, but we really hope that solidifies the relationship to continue growing with that person so we can grow together. It's just a much different, more scaled mindset and something that I think both sides can learn from. I think sometimes agencies get a little bit too loose. You got to tighten things up sometimes. And I think sometimes agents get a little bit too tight where it's like, I got to make money. I got to profit tonight, on the money I spent today. So it's the two differentiators that I can really kind of the similarities I can draw from are like a day trader who trades all day long trying to make that quick buck, or the long-term investor who invests their money in index funds every Friday, dollar cost averaging for the rest of their life. It's really, that's the difference there, honestly.
I think you just gave free financial advice there that we need a disclaimer for, but I understand the concept of dollar cost averaging Dogecoin, but that's about it. Maybe that's about as far as we should take that. So I was in New York City this weekend, went to see one of the last showings of Phantom of the Opera with Jamie, and we're walking past a construction site. And on the billboard where it talks about all the rules they have to post, it says pending completion 2027. Like whatever building these people are building, whatever it becomes, isn't going to become anything until 2027. And that's like normal in the construction industry. Like then all of a sudden there'll be a high rise. People will be moving in for $4 million a month, but it won't take place until 2027. If somebody told that an agent in the industry, oh yeah, we'll get to that, but it'll be done in 2027, they'd ask for a release like the next day. Like
absolutely,
it's just a totally different perspective on progress. The Baltimore Orioles, they were in the playoffs quite a while ago. They completely tore it down. They've got the best catcher in the league, several really great prospects. They're making progress towards a successful championship level team, but they don't tear it down and then be competitive the next year. I think there's so many examples of progress in the public that sometimes it's hard to realize that still from a personal perspective. Um, let's just say there's someone watching the video right now, they hire, which I don't like that term, they acquire a new agent. They contract them, they complete their contracting. Let's say that agent even goes out and actually sells something, like they defy all odds and become a productive agent.
Yep.
From a building perspective, how long does it take for a builder to even see the fruits of their efforts from someone that goes from contracting to, successful profitability?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, if you're providing resources, training, leads, these different things, 90 days, realistically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking 15 to 30 days in contracting. I mean, so again, these are relative numbers and just typical timelines of the industry as a whole, based off of my experience and perspective. 15 to 30 days in contracting, 15 to 30 days of ramp up or training or whatever that looks like, depending on your system. And then another 15 to 30 days of them kind of clunking around and figuring out what the heck they're doing. Again, can that be shortened? Sure, it can. Sure. I mean, but profitability wise, if we're talking dollars and cents as an agency owner, you shouldn't be expecting to be making a whole bunch of money off that person until month, 2, 3 down the road, because you're investing in their leads to get started. You're investing your time, effort, and energy into taking them in the field. The things that are necessary for them to be successful cost money or cost time, which is money in our business. So a lot of variables that, I don't think a lot of people that start building account for. I would say the majority don't. They think, man, that looks really good. On the surface, it does look really good. And it's like, to go back to the topic, like that guy's so successful. It's like, well, those first 6 months were not great. Like we were spending every dime we had to maintain the agency. It's great now, but we were running razor thin on budgets.
How long do you think it takes in time, or how many people do you think it takes for an agency to start showing itself profitable at the very top? It's one thing to acquire an agent. It's another to contract your cousin. It's another to send out a contract and someone sells it once a month. How many people does it actually take as an agency before the person at the top is really starting to see financial return for their investment?
Sure. There's two ways to look at that. You need 10 producers. How many people that equates to? It's more than 10. Unfortunately, if we could just hire 10 people and all 10 were good, then it would be that simple. And everybody and our cousin would have an agency, right? But if you have 10 producing agents, it really does change your level of income and your ability to make a little bit more informed business decisions for the agency. Because at 2, at 3, at 5, at 7, 8, it's still, I don't want us to call it shaky. It's just inconsistent. And it's just very shot in the dark kind of thing. Once you start getting to 10 agents, and again, there's variables like spread, levels, things like that play a role in this as well. Some agency owners at a 20-point spread with 10 agents, it's a lot better than 30 agents at a 5-point spread. I can tell you from experience. So there's variables and factors that you have to think about there. But it comes down to producers. And once you hit that 10 mark, you really do notice a pretty substantial and significant difference.
So say we're on that topic, and I want to keep running on it for a minute. You want to make progress as a builder, as an agency, whatever verb you want to use, but you want to make sure you're putting the right time and effort into the people that will get you there, because there's just as many bad clients as there are bad agents. I don't mean bad people, they're just not right fits. How is a builder supposed to filter in and filter out the right kind of people?
Yeah, the first thing is knowing, like staying true to yourself and knowing what it is you're looking for. Like if you've got a model and you believe in it and you know it works, don't deviate for anybody. Like if let's say your model is a lead deposit or set cost leads and it's working for people, but you find this guy or girl that like, oh man, she or he could be so good, so great, but she doesn't have any money or he doesn't have any money to pay for leads. And you bend and you say, it's no problem, I'll front the leads. Well, you've broken. You've broken one of your rules, right? And You can't do that. If you want to actually grow your system, your business, you need that kind of base of people that are showing success with your system so that you can continue to duplicate it. The more you bend and break for one person here, one person there, the more out of whack everything gets and more difficult it becomes to really track anything and have any kind of understanding for where you're headed. It's just kind of juggling too many balls at once.
Yeah, I told the guy lately, and I didn't mean it in a condescending sense at all, but I said, if you do these 5 things, I almost guarantee you're going to be, at least you're going to survive, and then eventually you'll succeed. But if you don't do these exact 5 things, it's just not going to work. And maybe that's me not bending, but it's just me knowing how to at least replicate my widget. I can't make other widgets. I don't know how. I've never proved it, but I could at least tell him if he buys leads, dials in, works 60 hours, calls when he needs help, he's going to be able to move from week to week. But if removing one of those things, the widget won't come out of the machine.
Absolutely.
You feel like for face-to-face lead buying, simplified issue selling agents, that getting on a lead order is the greatest filter that a builder can apply towards who to put the most effort into?
Sure, because it shows that you have confidence in yourself, belief in yourself that you can do the business. Shows that you have some kind of financial wherewithal to be able to afford it. And it also shows that you're driven to do more, that there's something that you're trying to do or accomplish. It just proves on so many different levels that you're serious about the business, and it's not something that you want to do, but you're willing to do whatever it takes to do. I'll be the first to tell you, I recognize how big of a leap of faith it is to throw your credit card down and start buying leads. It is. It's like, man, this is, especially as a new person, it's like this feels weird. I don't like this feeling. It's not fun. I don't like being charged $900 or $1,200 or $1,400 every single week. But after 6 months, those people also end up being like, it's the best decision I ever made. So it goes both ways. At the agent level, it's a necessary thing. At the agency level, it makes you motivated to help that person.
Do you think sometimes at the mid-level agency or the personal producer level that agents get frustrated and they think maybe their upline or their agency or their IMO or their whatever verb they're using or adjective or pronoun, they feel like people are working against them when they don't realize how slow things move at the top?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a natural thing, right? It's like, it's easy to think like, man, like my upline or their upline or somebody's upline is sabotaging me. And then you start to the most dangerous part of that thought process is the line of thinking of, I'm being sabotaged and I would be so much better if I had XYZ carrier or if I had this one thing. And you have to realize how typically minor the things that you're mad about are. Not to minimize them. There are legitimate issues if you're not getting leads, or you have no writing numbers in like a month. Like, yeah, those are punishable offenses. Those have to be fixed. But if you've got 13 writing numbers, you're getting 30 leads a week, and you're just so mad that you can't get the one carrier that advances on Direct Express, well, your issues are a lot bigger than you not having that carrier. So, taking a 1,000-foot view of your problem and taking stock in it and realizing like how big of a problem is it actually is important. But when we get down to those bigger problems, a lot of times they are trickle down effect. It's like at the very, very top, it's like there's so many things going on behind the scenes, like the Wizard of Oz, basically, that it's even hard to understand or fathom for little things to get done. So.
Yeah, I had a situation lately where someone was trying to pick up a niche price busting low comp carrier. And the reason they didn't get an agent number is I didn't sign page 7 in the lower left quadrant and then send it back to the specific email that's processed from. Yep. Like, you got to be kidding me. But it's like, I'm not working against this agent. I'm not trying to keep them from getting this carrier. I actually would love if they sold it and I made money and they made money and everybody was happy. But because this little section of this paper application wasn't completed, it's just the nature of administrative work. And I think sometimes we forget I got a 1 call close to get paid tomorrow mindset that the rest of the industry really doesn't work that way.
That's exactly right. And the ease at which most things can get done on a smaller scale, so agent to client relationship, has really spoiled a lot of agents, including myself. Like, I still produce and I still have this large agency. So it's spoiled me. It's like, man, how can I get an instant approval with a policy number in 5 minutes and I can't get on the phone with a carrier to change somebody's comp level in less than an hour and a half? It is frustrating, and I'm right there with you. It also trains your patience and understanding of there's bigger cogs to the machine than you, and understanding that is a powerful thing. It changes everything. It's all perspective.
I think sometimes we forget too that a lot of the cogs of the machine are paid hourly, don't operate from an entrepreneurial or a 1099 mindset.
Sure.
And that you literally have to tell yourself, I'm talking to someone that's going to get paid the same, irregardless of how angry or upset, or they're going to get the same pay today as they did yesterday and the day after. And they're probably going to be off at 2 o'clock because of this meeting. Like, that's a totally different world that we have to deal with when we deal with trying to make progress in the industry.
It is. It's entirely different, and giving them grace and having some patience with them, because they're bombarded as well. To think that you're the main priority in their day of the thousands of calls and emails that these companies receive is pretty much just ignorant. It's like a million other people have tried to reach out about something today. I guarantee it. There's tens of thousands of agents with the top carriers. And again, having this idea that like your problem, the fact that Miss Jones missed a payment and it needs to be reprocessed, and thinking that's the biggest problem that carrier ABC has today is insane. So just give them grace, take your time, be a little bit more patient on the agency side of things, and understand that there's a lot of spinning wheels and moving parts.
So the definition of progress, I wanted to share this with those that are still tuned in. Hopefully they liked this video, commented below, and subscribed, because we always put time and effort into something that's going to help grow your business or improve your mindset. The definition of progress: 1, a forward or onward movement as to an objective or to a goal. It's an active progress. It's a verb. It's something you have to do. Progress doesn't happen by accident. And it's a gradual betterment of progressive development. That's kind of redundant, but it's gradual. Nothing big takes place overnight. And I think that can be the biggest frustration that we often face. And I don't know if it makes sense, but sometimes the trainings I come up with are best meant for myself. Like, progress takes time, doesn't happen overnight. And sometimes the things that come quick also disappear the quickest. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They're built on a house of sand, and, or built on a bed of sand, and just as easy as something comes is about as easy as it can be taken. It doesn't take much to take something that was, not difficult to build or grow.
Yep. So in short, if you're watching this video today, it's okay to take time, but continue to take the time, put the effort in, and the results will come from that. Waylon, I appreciate you watching, taking time to do this with us. And I appreciate those that took the time to watch today. Like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully one thing you took from today's video will help you in your success journey this week. Thanks for watching.